Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Young here, and today I'm back into a Fortnite video. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys some tips and tricks on how to edit faster. I'm going to be showing you guys a couple of editing maps that you guys should be using to improve your editing speed. And these are the ones I've been using for the past couple days, and they have been really helping me out when it comes to improving my builds and my edits. So I really highly recommend trying out these maps. And before we get into the video, I'm going to be giving away 2,000 V-Bucks. So if you guys want a chance to enter this giveaway and win some free V-Bucks, all you guys need to do is to drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and as well leave a comment down below of either your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And you guys will automatically be entered into my next giveaway. So if you guys want some free V-Bucks, make sure you guys do enter the giveaway. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I wanted to be showing you guys a couple editing courses that I've been using, and I like editing courses a lot. I've been using them quite a bit recently, and I used to use them a lot when they first kind of got popular back in the day. And the reason why I like it a lot is because it really focuses on editing, and the way the courses are now is there's a lot of different things you can practice as far as resetting your edits, different type of builds, different type of edits. Because in Fortnite, you can get pretty creative when it comes to the different edits you can do, and there's just so many different options to practice and to try to learn. So that's why I do like editing courses, because there's a lot of edits that you would do every single game, and of course, it really does help with improving the speed at which you're editing at, because there's so many different options. You have triple edits, you have double edits, you have single edits. You can really have any sort of combination that you want. And also the codes for this map are going to be at the pinned comment. So if you guys want to see the codes for it, you probably see it at the top of the screen. But if you can't see that, then just go down to the pinned comment and you guys can see the codes just down there. And so one thing that I've noticed, especially playing a lot more solos, and I mean this is true for any game mode, especially one thing that I did notice in solos, arena, things like that, is editing, I feel like, has become more and more important. And if you want to win gunfights, you have to be very, very quick at building, but you also have to be very quick at editing, because if you're very quick at editing, you're very smart with it, you're going to be able to catch a lot of people off guard, and you're going to get a lot of quick shots, and you're going to be a much better player, and you're going to be able to win a lot more games if you have very good editing in Fortnite. And especially now that any platform can play on the same server. It used to be where only Xbox players can play Xbox players, but they moved it to Xbox and PS4. But now they moved it to pretty much everyone plays on the exact same platform. Whether you play on PC, whether you play on console, everyone plays the same. And especially for myself, I run into a lot of keybot and mouse players that just like to spam builds, spam edits, and the only way I can play against them is I have to play smarter. I have to be able to edit quicker than them. So even though I'm at a disadvantage playing on controller, working on editing and practicing my edits have really, I've seen a big difference in my gameplay, and I've also seen a big difference in the amount of wins that I've gotten, just because I've been able to outplay those type of players by being even better than they are at editing. Because it is a disadvantage playing on, especially for those guys who play on controller, it is a disadvantage, no doubt, when it comes to building and editing, just because of the way the movement is. It's a little bit more difficult. It's not the end of the world, but it is definitely a little bit more difficult. And right now I do play on linear settings, which I feel like, in my opinion, help out with building and editing just a little bit, just by the way the movement is. It's super smooth, super easy to control. And the only downfall, as you guys know, is taking your accuracy from long range with the assault rifles. That is a little bit more difficult, and probably the only disadvantage. But when it comes to building and editing, linear definitely is the better setting. That's what you see. That's why you see a lot of creative players, a lot of people who like to practice builds and edits. The people that you see on Instagram with those crazy flick shots and the crazy builds on those clips, pretty much all of them do play linear, because it is a lot easier. A lot of people who play legacy or are competitive players, people who like to just have the best aim assist possible, don't really have the best builds and edits, and that's just kind of the trend that I've seen. So I would recommend also playing on linear, giving it a try. I made a couple settings videos if you guys want to know the best settings to use for linear, dead zones, and all that kind of stuff. I will have that video down in the pinned comment as well if you guys want to check that one out. So when it comes to linear, I really, really do like the way it feels when it comes to building and editing. Would recommend it, at least give it a try. I'm sure a lot of you guys already do play on linear, but I thought I'd just throw that in there, because when it comes to building and editing, it really is a huge difference. And I've been really trying to figure out a ton of ways. That's a lot of my recent videos have been trying to figure out ways to get better at the game without having to necessarily grind super hard. Like, there was one trick I found out that when it comes to linear, I don't think it works for legacy, or it probably does it, but it's just so much weaker, it really doesn't make a difference. Is when you have your dead zones really low, if you have a little bit of stick drift and you play on linear, or exponential works for that one as well, if you have a little bit of stick drift, you automatically get aim assist. So if you're looking directly at a player and you're not moving your analog stick, so maybe if you're going for like a jump shot and you're not really flicking, if you're not constantly moving your analog stick, you actually do not get the aim assist. It's only when you move your analog stick. So in that case, if you play on a low dead zone and you have a little bit of stick drift when you move, meaning that you're always 100% of the time going to have aim assist on the other player, which is going to allow you to hit a lot more shots. It's going to allow you to lock onto the other player much easier, which is a huge and major advantage. And there's been so many little things that I found out in the settings, so many little things in the way that you can play that really do make all the difference without having to necessarily hop in creative and grind 12 hours a day to get better. Same with aim, just find that little trick when it comes to dead zones, where instead of having to practice your aim, which definitely takes a while unless you play on keyboard and mouse, you can use Kovacs. But if you play on controller, it is a little bit more difficult. It takes quite a bit of time to improve your aim. So finding little tricks like that definitely make a huge difference on people's play style when it comes to building, editing, aiming, all that kind of stuff. So I've been trying to figure out a bunch of different ways that essentially are going to be almost like a get good quick type of thing, that you can change just a few settings and it's going to make a huge improvement on your game, because you always want to make sure you have the right settings before. Because if you have bad settings, if you have things that really don't work very well, then no matter what, it's going to be very difficult to try to improve. So you always want to have a good foundation, which is going to be the best settings possible. And once you have that, then you can really just focus on improving your mechanics through editing courses, through, I guess, aiming courses if you want. I really don't recommend aiming courses, because when it comes to aiming against another player in game, you have people who build, people who are going for quick edits, they're moving a lot more. And when it comes to these aiming courses, the movement, even if they are moving, it's extremely predictable. It's, there's no pressure, you're not getting shot back at, and it's just, I feel like you're not improving in the way that you would, because even if you got good at those aiming courses, when it came to actual games and people were moving in really odd directions, because, I mean, honestly, when I'm in fights against controller players, against keyboard and mouse players, I can just tell what type of player they are just by the way they play. And so when you are going against different type of players, it's going to be much different than shooting at a bunch of bots and creative that have a really predictable type movement. It's just not the same at all. So I really don't recommend too much when it comes to aiming in creative. So improving aim, I guess there's a few things you can do with your settings, but most of which is just going to be grinding it out and trying to just work on your flick shots, work on your aim, all that kind of stuff. There really isn't like a secret thing to that. But like I was talking about, you want to have that good foundation with your settings, and then after that, it's pretty much just grinding the game, trying to improve your mechanics as much as possible. And that's why I wanted to make another video where I showed different courses, because I really do like the editing courses. I like the aspects of it. There's a bunch of different edits you can do. I really do like how a lot of these are structured. So, and also a lot of these as well have like beginner courses, intermediate and advanced. So if you're like a beginner player, then you have the option to have a little bit easier edits. If you're maybe a mid type level player, then you have mid difficulty editing courses, and then you have advanced ones. Because I know Raiders, if you've probably seen, he's probably one of the fastest editors on PC. He has a bunch of courses as well that I think he makes himself, and that are really advanced. I really don't do too many of them, because they're just, I don't know if they're just extremely difficult, but I mean, it's a lot of editing, and for me, practicality wise, it's just not something that I would do every single game. So it's very good if you're trying to have like the craziest, fastest edits for PC, but if you're a controller player, I probably wouldn't recommend them, just because it's not the most practical. I would recommend doing a lot more practical editing courses where it focuses mainly on edits that you would do every single game, not just super flashy, creative clip type edits. And that's just my personal opinion. Those are the editing courses that I recommend. So like I said, the codes for these courses are down in the description below, or the pinned comment, whichever I decided to put them in. So definitely check those out. And also, if you want to see my recent settings video, definitely look down at the pinned comment as well. But with that being said, that's wrap up for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys liked it, make sure you guys do drop a like, make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on my post notifications so you guys are notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.